Early childhood teachers, like all professionals, have good days and bad days. Days of rich engagement and powerful connections, and days when nothing seems to go right. Some of this is the normal ebb and flow of working with young children. But sometimes our preferred approach to teaching doesn't work with the children we have. Reflective practice is the process of setting aside time to evaluate classroom successes and areas for improvement with the goal of creating more effective learning experiences for children.
Today we talk a lot about reflective practice as a hallmark of a professional teacher. There's a good bit of evidence that when practitioners, whether they're teachers, physicians, any professional, takes a stance where they stop, take a deep breath, pull back, think about not only what to do, but why they should do it, they are much more likely to use practices that will work well with children.
Okay. So let's start with Zoe.
Finding what works is an ongoing process. An activity that engages everyone today may not be meaningful next week. Following your instincts, even if you have good instincts, will only take you so far.
Look at the letter.
I've worked with a lot of students in my life, and sometimes people come to this profession because people say to them, "You're a natural. You're a natural." Maybe you've done great with your cousins, or you volunteered in childcare settings, or you volunteered in schools, and people think you have a particular way of interacting with children that's a really good way, and that is true. But it's not enough. You really need to have that professional background, that understanding of what research tells us, not just what our experience tells us, although that's very important, it's part of the equation, it's not the whole equation. If we want to be respected for our knowledge and our skills, then we have to really think about it. We have to be deliberate. We have to be intentional in how we interact with children.
You don't have to be a natural to be a teacher, but it helps to know yourself and to be able to objectively assess the effectiveness of what you're doing in the classroom. Difficult behaviors are sometimes children's way of telling you that your plan is not meeting their current needs.
If teachers go through that reflective process, they will adapt and modify their curriculum and their methods in ways that are likely to do a better job of meeting the needs of the actual children that they have, thereby engaging children more in the learning process, tailoring their teaching more to what children's real competencies and interests are, and thereby, again, preventing a lot of the challenging behaviors that can be so difficult for teachers to deal with.
Children want to succeed. An important part of reflective practice is identifying ways to help children experience success. Children who can't succeed in your classroom often turn to difficult behaviors to meet their needs.
I think sometimes we label children as presenting us with challenging behaviors when we need to say we've created an environment that's challenging for them, that we need to look at again and see, is it overstimulating? Is it too chaotic? Is it hard to focus? Is it too crowded? Is it too boring? All of those areas can provoke children to communicate with their behavior. This environment isn't working for me.
Children can't be engaged in a classroom that isn't working for them. When the environment or curriculum are not developmentally appropriate, children are deprived of unique learning opportunities.
Jaden, what flavor's your cake?
Lifelong interests are starting through developmentally appropriate activity in classrooms, but it can only happen with DA activity because only then is the child's cognitive learning in full integration with a positive affect towards that learning. They're enjoying what they're doing, they want to do more of it, and that just registers so much in their brain development that it's something that they may retain as an interest through their whole lives. You know an activity is developmentally appropriate for a child when their attention span for it is longer than yours. In other words, when they want you to read the book again, or when they're building with blocks and they get upset that it's cleanup time because they're building in such an intentional, cool kind of way.
When children have attention for and engagement in an activity, it's likely something is going right. Recognizing and repeating your successes is just as important as limiting the times your approach doesn't work.
We watch a child be very interested in ice melting, and we watch the child being curious about how long it will take and what's going to happen to the ice and how it's changing its state and so on. And then we see that we can add to that. We can do some more activities. We can do some more experiments. We can talk to the child about, what do you think will happen? How long do you think this will be till this block of ice melts? The ice cube took 30 seconds, but how about this big ice block? So that's how children learn. They have a hands-on experience. If we simply watch that experience and move to the next, we've missed a tremendous opportunity. Because when we see a child being interested in something, wanting more information, we can be right there. Not that we have to know all the answers, nor should we give them, but we can ask the right open-ended questions to get the learning to the next level.
Getting children's learning to the next level can only come when we take time to pause, take a deep breath, reflect, and plan. Sometimes, with our focus on the curriculum and measuring cognitive development, we may forget that what a child is learning isn't as important as the process of learning itself. Young children need to learn how to be together before they can learn together.
I would love us as a profession to put behavior and teaching of social emotional competence as a priority so that it's something we do proactively and intentionally. That way, behavior doesn't become something that interferes with my real goal, which is teaching a learning skill, but in fact is on my agenda for the day, something that I'm going to be teaching. So we want to start every day teaching social emotional skills through puppets, through songs, the reading that we do. If something happened yesterday 2 or 3 times in the classroom that I know is an issue, might be sharing of toys, I want to take time the next morning to act that out with puppets and role play and ask the children what we could do better to solve it. We often want to address issues with children at the time they're misbehaving. But you know, when you and I are upset, we don't want to get instructed in how to behave at that time.
Okay, we're going to use walking feet this time, okay? You ready? Can you show me? Those are excellent walking feet.
We want to help children in a neutral time when things are going well to proactively teach those pro-social skills that we want.
March, march, march.
Timing always matters. Most children can become engaged in a variety of activities. The trick is finding the right activity at the right time. Reflective practice can help you do that. At heart, reflective practice is about finding out who you are as a teacher. It's about finding your voice.
It is the valuing of voice, that teachers, in coming to value their own voice, can eventually transfer that over to understanding that it makes them smarter, it makes them feel valued, it allows them to listen to other people, it allows them to be wrong, it allows them to fail and to start again. And I think that's that mindset that we have to get to, that we're not talking about right answers. We're talking about learning.